Let's talk about story of a Waqf Board. A noble idea take birth. Imagine a wealthy landowner named Rahim from a century ago. Before passing away, he decided that let's talk about Waqf Board. It starts with a noble idea. Let's suppose, imagine a wealthy landowner named Rahim from a century ago. Before passing away, he decided that his large piece of land should never be bought or sold again. Instead, he wished that all the rent and the crops harvested from it go directly toward feeding the poor, building schools and running local hospitals. In Islamic tradition, this permanent gift for charity is called waqf. Once given, the property belongs to God, meant so solely for public welfare, like trust. When India gained independence in 1947, thousands of such properties were scattered across the nation. Mosque, graveyard, schools, vast tracts of land left behind by families. To manage these properties fairly and make sure the money actually reached the poor, the Indian government passed the Waqf Act in 1954. Later, state Waqf board were set up across the country to act as a legal trustees who control the keys. That's the second point. To run these board, decision makers were brought together from within the community. At the national level, the Union Ministers of Minority Affairs oversaw a central council. At the state level, the board consists of Muslim politicians, scholars, lawyers, and local caretakers called mutawallis. A state government officer was appointed as a chief executive officer to handle the paperwork. On paper, this was a powerful network designed to protect community asset and lift up unprivileged Muslims through education and healthcare. Now the third chapter. How the system frustrated, how the system fractured. Over the decades, the Waqf Board grew to control over 8 lakh properties, making it the third largest landowner in India, right behind the Indian Army and the railways. But as its power grew, some problems began to surface. The poor were left behind despite owning prime land worth billions. Very little money reached poor families for education or medical care. Corruption and poor management drained the funds. Unchecked land powers. Under updated law in 1995, if a piece of land was historically used for religious purpose, the board could claim it as work property, sometimes without needing clear ownership documents. This led to serious conflict over public village lands and private properties. Under updated law in 1950, a piece of land was historically used for religious purpose. ये हो गया. No ordinary courts allowed. If an ordinary citizen had a property dispute with the board, they could not go to the standard civil court. They had to take their case to special Waqf tribunal, making it extremely difficult for common peoples to defend their land. Encroachment and misuse. Local land mafias and corrupt managers illegally leased or sold prime wave lands for pennies, pocketing the profit for themselves. Chapter 4. The Turning Point. As complaint grew from ordinary citizens, legal experts, and common members of Muslim communities, it became clear that the system needed major changes. Today, the government has introduced significant legal reforms to reshape how work land is managed. Digital transparency. Every piece of work land must now be mapped online and registered digitally to stop arbitrary claims. Government verifications. Local government officials like district collectors must verify land ownership before any new property can be claimed claimed as works. Fair representation. Women experts and minority sets are now required to have a seat on the board. Access to High Court. Dispute can how Dispute can now be taken directly to regular state or high court, bringing back fair judicial check for everyone. The lesson. The story of the work board standard with a good intention using land for charity, however, without transparency, clear rules, and independent oversights, even the best system can fall. The story of work board started with a good intention using land for charity. However, without transparency, clear rules, and independent oversights, even the best system can fall off track. The going the ongoing reform are designed to bring accountability back to the system, ensuring land rights are protected for every citizen while public charity reaches those who genuinely need it. Actually, there was a rumor, or we can say some disputes on the work board. You might hear about that कि वर्क बोर्ड अच्छा नहीं है, वर्क बोर्ड सही नहीं था, वर्क बोर्ड ऐसा है वैसा है. तो आई एम जस्ट वांटेड टू से यू दैट किसी भी चीज़ में बिलीव करने से पहले एक बार आप उसकी डेप्थ में जाओ.